welcome to the Unmasked India podcast. Lately, I had been getting suggestions that I should do an episode in English, so this episode is going to be in English. And today, we are going to talk about scientists of ancient India that developed technologies that were far better than modern technology. So, let's start. In the ancient civilization, the growth of civilization was the result of incredible ancient engineering and technology during those days. These technologies have in some way affected the modern lives, but a lot of these inventions are forgotten, lost on just pages, and only to be revitalized thousands of years later. These are some of the best examples of ancient technology and inventions that were used in ancient India or had been developed by ancient Indians. First of all, we have that the atomic theory was developed 2600 years ago in ancient India. John Dalton is said to be the father of atomic theory. However, before Dalton, who had lived between 1766 to 1844, Acharya Kanand had already talked about the idea of atom. That's the indivisible particle of the matter more than 2600 years ago. The story behind this is that when he was walking with the grain of rice in his hand, he could not break it further. No matter how small he broke it into, he thought it still is rice. That way, he thought that there must be an indivisible matter called Anu, atom, that all the things in the universe are made up of, and that different substances would have a different composition of these atoms that makes them different from each other. Next, we have that the Newton's law of gravity was developed 1200 years before Newton. In Surya Siddhanta, Hindu astronomer Bhaskaracharya states that objects fall on earth due to a force of attraction by the earth. Therefore, the earth, planets, constellations, moon, and sun are held in the orbit due to this attraction. These lines are very similar to Newton's law of gravitation, and only after 1200 years later, in 1687 AD, Sir Isaac Newton discovered this phenomenon. On number 3, we have Bhaskaracharya and his calculation about Earth. Bhaskaracharya was the person who calculated the time taken by Earth to orbit Sun hundreds of years before the Western discovery. He found it to be 365.2587 days. In his other work, Siddhanta Shiromani, he talks about the planetary positions, cosmography, mathematical techniques, and astronomical equipments used in ancient India. On number 4, we have father of medicine, Acharya Charak. Known to be the father of medicine in the Indian context, Acharya Charak wrote Charak Samhita, which is considered to be the encyclopedia of Ayurveda. His prognosis, diagnosis, principles, cures still have a great value even today. When there were confusions in West about different theories, Charak had established his principles on various human anatomy, pharmacology, blood circulation diseases, diabetes, tuberculosis, heart diseases, etc. In his book, he has given more than 2 lakh herbal plants with their medicinal qualities. He has also talked about impact of having a proper diet on mind and body. On number 5, we have Rishi Bharadwaj and Vimans. Written by Maharshi Bharadwaj, Vimanika Shastra was discovered in a temple in India. This book was written in 400 BC and talked about the operation of ancient Vimans, how they steered, propelled, how they took precautions for long flights, how they protected airships from storms and lightnings, how they switched the drive to solar energy and other free sources. The Vimans in those days took off vertically, and he talks about at least 70 authorities and 10 experts of air travel. On number 6, we have Kapil Muni and his take on how the universe was created. Rishi Kapil Muni had a rare intellect at an early age. He even wrote Sankhya Darshan that defines the concepts of meditation. According to him, meditation is a state of mind that remains without any subjectivity, without any thought, without any worldly or material pleasure. He talks about the continuity from the lowest inorganic to highest organic forms, the source of which is Prakriti, nature. He even talks about how the universe was manifested out of creation, from which soul and matter are eternal and independent of each other. He states that no arguments can irrefutably establish God's reality. Thus, soul and matter are responsible for creation without the creator, the God. On number 7, we have Acharya Patanjali, the father of yoga. Yoga is one of the greatest Hindu contributions to the world. Through yoga, one can discover and realize the ultimate reality. Acharya Patanjali is the person behind the spread of this global practice. He prescribed how control of breath can be used to control the mind, body, and soul. And his 84 yogic postures also show how the efficiency of different systems like circulatory system, nervous system, digestive system, endocrine system, and other systems in the body can be improved. On number 8, we have Acharya Aryabhat and the first claim about Earth's rotation. Acharya Aryabhat is one of the greatest mathematician and astronomer in this side of the world. Born on 476 CE in Kusumpur, he wrote his text on astronomy and an unparalleled treatise on mathematics known as Aryabhatiam at the age of 23. And he was the first person to calculate the motion of planets, and also the person who proclaimed that Earth is round and rotates on its axis and orbits the sun. This was 1000 years before Copernicus published the heliocentric theory. On number 9, we have Sushruta, the father of surgery. Way back 2600 years before, Sushruta was doing what modern scientists still finds difficulties doing. He was conducting complicated surgeries like artificial limbs, plastic surgery, brain surgery, and many others. He was born to sage Vishwamitra, who also wrote the book Sushruta Samhita that talks about more than 300 surgical procedures and 125 surgical instruments. On number 10, we have Varamihir and the luminescence of moon. In Panchasiddhant, the author Varamihir talks about the lustrous nature of moon and planets because of the sunlight. He also wrote Bruhat Samhita and Bruhat Jata, where he talks about the domains of geography, constellation, science, animal science, and cures of various diseases inflicting plants and trees. On number 11, we have the fact that galaxy is oval and Earth is spherical. Yajurved clearly states that Shiva is the one who spread out the Brahmand. Back in the days when Westerns used to believe that Earth was flat, but on this side of the world, people always believed that the Earth was spherical. Many scriptures talk about Bhugola, the Earth, where the Gola means round. These are only some of the facts that proves that ancient Indians had way more knowledge about science than we do now. So that's it for this episode. Thank you very much.